Hey guys, welcome back to the Cyrus Fiene Team channel. I'm Cyrus, and today we are walking through our newest listing at the Bravern Condominiums located in the heart of Capitol Hill between 14th and 15th on Pine Street. After touring our studio in the Bravern, which allows Airbnbs, Tarice is going to walk you through what it's like to analyze an Airbnb and whether it's right for you and what questions you want to ask. So let's get inside and check out this studio. All right, guys, let's check out this studio. So being that the studio is 520 square feet approximately, every square inch is maximized. Right off of the entryway, we have the laundry, the full bath, and the enormous closet here behind me. So when we have properties that are roughly 550 square feet or smaller, we really like to analyze how the square footage is used. And like I said, this property's square footage is used very, very well. So past the landing and these extra spaces, we're walking right into the entire unit itself and the living space. And of course, it being a studio, we have our bedroom and living space combined. So designing studios can be quite challenging just because you have one space to fit in the bedroom and living space. This owner did an excellent job where they actually pushed up the couch against the foot of the bed, creating a small living space with the television on the other side of this living room. So given the generous size of this studio compared to a lot of new construction buildings, you're actually getting a pretty substantial kitchen. Not only do you have a nice corner kitchen, but you even have a peninsula, which adds so much more storage. The fact that this is kind of a nice square shape, it allows you to really utilize the spaces, and having a proper desk space is something that's tough to come by in any studio. Another rare feature of this studio is the fact that you have parking and storage. In most new construction studios, you just don't get those features, or if you do, you're paying extra for them. This owner, the reason they set it up like this is because they were using this condo as an Airbnb. Very few condos in Seattle allow you to do an Airbnb, and this one actually does. While the Bravern was built in the early 2000s, they were actually way ahead of their time when it came to amenities. The Bravern amenities include a gym with a pretty diverse amount of equipment that you don't get everywhere else. For example, a squat rack that most new condominiums don't even have. The Bravern even has its own community garden, which is pretty awesome. No other condominium that I've ever seen in Seattle allows owners and the community members to actually have their own little patch of garden. There's actually an owner's lounge as well, where you can host parties or birthdays, and it's connected to the theater as well, which is really nice. You can have a party and watch a movie, or even rent it out for maybe the Super Bowl or something. There's actually a yoga room that overlooks the Zen garden, which is pretty awesome. Nice to have a yoga room separate from the gym. This building has numerous rooftops. It's not just one, but multiple. Now, one thing that's pretty nice about it is there's multiple rooftops on multiple different levels. So you get to enjoy all these different types of views, as well as the fact that if somebody else is using one rooftop deck, you can actually go probably find another one and have that space to yourself. So as I said, condos that allow Airbnb are very few and far between. I mean, I'm talking about maybe 10 condos in all of Seattle that really allow it, especially in the downtown core. This here on one of the best locations in Capitol Hill does, And this owner was actually able to command well over $200 a night, especially during the peak summer months. So have you been thinking about purchasing a property to use it as an Airbnb and create that income stream? Well, Tarice is going to give you an example and walk you through what it's like to purchase an Airbnb and rent it out.
Clients reach out to us all the time asking us, is an Airbnb investment right for them and how do they get that process started? So today we're going to dive into what that process looks like, what questions should you be asking, and how to figure out if that's the right next investment for you. Buying an Airbnb, the process starts out very similar to when you buy your primary residence or any other time that you've bought before. So you want to go ahead and get started with getting pre-approved by a lender. And it's very important when you're going through this pre-approval process, you tell them that this will be an investment property for you. A lot of lenders have different qualifiers and things that they look for, so it's just important that you're being transparent with them. After you get pre-approved, it's time to start your search and get out there and start looking for homes. First thing you really want to determine is what location are you going to be looking at. It's important to determine, is that a seasonal only location? Is it going to be really popular in the winter, in the summer, the springtime, all year round? All important factors to consider, and that's going to play into how successful your Airbnb is. Another thing to consider is, again, playing into that location, how close is that going to be to you? Are you going to need to hire someone to manage that? Are you going to be there to help every guest with check-in, check-out? Are you going to be there to, clean after every check-in? All things to consider, and if you are planning on hiring someone to help you with it, those are costs you need to factor into your business. So even if it's not in a condo building, there might still be an HOA that you need to look into. So some single family homes and townhomes still have that HOA, and it's always important to check that you're going to be able to actually do a short-term rental. Even if it's a single family home, there might be rules against that. Some places even have citywide ordinances that go against Airbnbs and short-term rentals, and there's a good reason for that. Places like Leavenworth, for instance, where a lot of people are coming in and purchasing short-term rentals and Airbnbs and all those things, it was really putting a strain on the small community and the housing for the residents that live there. So they had to enact rules that protected the citizens and allowed a balance between, the vacation rentals as well as people that live there full time. For instance, in Leavenworth, which is an absolutely fun vacation spot just 2 hours outside of Seattle, great place to go if you haven't been, out there they have put in these rules where they have broken the city up into different zones, and you were only allowed to have X amount of rentals, short-term rentals, in the zone at one time, which can be a block for a lot of people. There's no time limit for how long someone can have their Airbnb or their short-term rental going. So if your zone is completely full, you're put on a wait list for who knows how long. So it's really important when you are looking at location that you're researching the rules of the city. Okay, so now that you've picked your location and you've kind of got a little bit of a better idea of, what you're doing and where to start, it's time to get out and start touring homes. And this could take, varying length of time, but once you find the perfect home, there's quite a few more really important questions that you need to ask yourself. So let's go through what some of those questions are. So there's going to be a lot of important factors in seeing if this Airbnb is going to be successful and successful for you. Some general things that you really want to consider is, what are other similar Airbnbs going for in the area? How often are they booked up for too? And you need to be looking at what rates they're charging through different seasons, because different areas are going to be way more popular in the winter versus the summer. So going back to Leavenworth as an example, if you're looking at the numbers for an Airbnb during Christmas season or during late spring when it's prime time hiking, and you're using that to apply to the rest of your year, you're going to be in for a sore surprise when your Airbnb doesn't pull those same numbers, that same premium all year round. So another really important question to ask yourself is, what are your expenses going to be? Are you planning on hiring a property management company? Are you planning on hiring a cleaning crew? How much is it going to cost for you to furnish this place, as well as you need to plan for repairs and replacing things? It's just unfortunate. Things are gonna break and you're gonna need to do a lot of fixes being a homeowner and having people constantly come through and rent. Ultimately, there's a lot more questions you need to be asking yourself to determine if this is the right investment for you. And our team is happy to do that. We've helped multiple clients in the last year purchase an Airbnb and start their real estate portfolio. So if you liked this video and you want to see more Airbnb content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've been thinking about purchasing an investment or even just purchasing your first home, definitely reach out to the team. We are so happy to help. Thanks for touring our new studio listing with us and joining us and learning about Airbnbs. We'll see you next time.